Welcome. Hi, my name is Jody Darren, and we're so glad you could join us today. It's not often that we get to talk with an industry legend. Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. But first, let me give you a little background. Bolstered by pioneering companies like Amway, Mary Kay Cosmetics, Pampered Chef, World Ventures, Herbalife, and others, the network marketing industry is one of the most successful distribution channels in history, producing billions of dollars in annual sales. Our guest today is a legend in the network marketing industry. He founded Slender Now, one of the most successful network marketing companies in the late 70s, with 160,000 distributors producing over $100 million in annual sales. He was also the architect of one of the most revolutionary compensation plans ever developed for one of the biggest, most successful network marketing companies in history. But I'll let him tell you more about that, along with his many other accomplishments over the past 4 decades. So without further ado, I'm proud to introduce Mark Seyforth, founder of GoodLife USA, a dynamic network marketing company poised to explode within the $7 trillion a year worldwide travel industry. Mark, it's so great to have you here today.
Well, thank you, Jody, and it really is great to be here, and I'm looking forward to this interview today. One of the things in your conversation, you're talking about my background, I'm thinking, am I really been around that long? I sound like I'm 80 years old.
But you're not.
No, thank goodness I'm not, But I have had a lifetime of amazing experiences, and it's because of this particular industry we're talking about today. And again, I remember back when I came out of college, and I got a degree in criminal justice, and I was so excited because I got my degree, but I didn't want to go into that profession. I didn't want to do the things that everybody asked me to do. I wanted to be in business for myself. And so at that very early age, I knew that I had to go in business for myself, so I did. But what I did is, and this is really a funny story, I gotta tell this because this is funny. Can you imagine, you just got your degree, you come home and you tell your wife, hey, I got great news for you, because she's all excited about the new job I've got. And I've said, I quit my job. And she says, what do you mean you quit your job? No, I quit my job. I became an Amway distributor. Now she looked at me and goes, what's an Amway distributor? I said, well, you sell soap. And how do you do that? I said, well, you go knock on doors and you sell soap. And she goes, you just got a degree in criminal justice, and you quit your job to go sell soap, and you know nothing about it? No, but I'm excited. Well, actually, that launched my career in this industry because, I was so excited about the actual concept, but the opportunity wasn't for me. So in 1976, I decided to start my own business, a company called Slender Now.
And tell us about that. What's the difference between, how did that transition happen for you?
Well, again, I was in Amway, and I loved that concept was just amazing to me. So what I did was I went and talked to some people about, how can I start my own business? And I think, well, first off, and I really believe this in life, you got to do things you're passionate about, things you really, really believe in. And so I had a weight problem, and I'd always struggled with my weight, and I still struggle with my weight today. But back then, I really had a weight problem. So I went to a guy that owned a gym, and I said, you know what, I need to lose weight. How do I do that? He put me on this program, and I lost all this weight. I came back to him and said, oh my gosh, I'd lost like 30, 40 pounds. I can't remember, it was so long ago, but I was all of a sudden in great shape and lost all this weight. And I said, let's market this product. I know how. I got this concept. We can market the product. Well, he looked at me and said, okay, go get a bunch of distributors and let's see what happens. So that's how Slender Now started. I went out. I got all these people interested in taking this particular diet. It was a milkshake diet. And I got all these people signed up. I went back to him and said, okay, let's go. And he goes, what are you talking about? What am I talking about? You said if I go get a bunch of people interested, we'd start a business. He said, what business? And I'm going, the business that has to do with the milkshake that you gave me I lost weight on. He goes, oh yeah, okay, what do you want to do about that? And I said, well, I got 1,000 people ready to buy it right now. What do you want to do about it? And he goes, I guess we better make some product. So we launched that company, and obviously what you just talked about became history. It just exploded because we had something that people wanted, and then I wrote some things as far as compensation that the industry had never seen before, and it just took us to a whole different height. So it was an exciting time. And you imagine a guy starting out, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, and a year and a half later, I'm flying on my own private Learjet. It was like one of those stories that people say, oh, that can't really happen in life, but it does.
Wow, what an accomplishment. So you had Slender Now, and then you weren't done yet. There was something else, right?
No, yeah, well, what happened was, and actually in 1978, because a lot of people probably Google this anyway, there was a liquid protein controversy. Now, we were one of the fastest growing companies in the United States, and there was a liquid protein controversy where some people died taking liquid protein. We were selling a powdered protein you mix with milk, perfectly safe, never had a problem, but we got entangled in all that. So what ended up happening is my business, because of that, almost got shut down because the government said, proteins will kill you. People quit taking the product. That wasn't a smart thing. My company went from 160,000 distributors to nobody could sell my product. Now, 6 months later, the FDA came forward and said, oh, powdered proteins are perfectly safe. Well, my business was gone. Well, again, I've always believed you get lemons, you make lemonade, right? So I said, okay, what can I do? I've got a manufacturing company. I wrote a compensation plan that's very unique in the industry. So one of my former distributors, a guy named Mark Hughes, came to me and said, look, Mark, I want to take this cylinder now. I want to put some herbs in it, and I want to launch a company. Will you come do this with me? And I said, well, sounds interesting, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll help you make your products. I'll write your compensation plan for you. I'll do everything you need. I'll create marketing content, whatever you need, and you go launch your company. He said, okay, and that company was Herbalife. And so in 1980, Herbalife launched, and of course, again, the rest is history.
Now, I did a little research to prepare for our conversation today, and I found out that Herbalife is one of the most successful network marketing companies in history, and they just did $4.5 billion in sales last year, right? So let me get this right. You were in your 20s, you started and owned a company that did $100 million in annual sales with 160,000 distributors. Then as an encore, you helped start Herbalife, writing their compensation plan and producing their product. I have to know, what is your secret?
Well, actually, it's pretty simple, and it's something I've actually shared with people all my life. I think you really, number one, and I said at the very beginning, you have to have a passion about what you do. I've always had that passion. But the other thing is, you really have to care about people. Because I've always believed that if you really, when you start something, if the focus is not on yourself, but on the people that you're bringing into the business, that's when you have the greatest success. So I've always taken that attitude and, the idea that, look, if you're gonna make a company successful, you gotta have vision, you gotta see the big picture, but you've gotta realize that a business is built around people and around teams. And so you have to care about the people that you're involving. So I always look at it from the standpoint, if I'm gonna put together a company, what am I going to do to benefit that individual that gets involved? And if I do that, then the success will come.
So tell us more about that vision.
Well, I believe that a lot of people, when they get involved in trying to put together a company, it's the old thing, they just see this just little small part of what can be done. And I really think you have to look at something on a bigger scale. And I've always been able to do it. I don't know why, I don't know where it comes from, but when I look at something, I think, what would make this into a billion-dollar business? Not 100,000, not 200,000, not a million. I always look at what would make it into a billion-dollar business? Because I've always found, this is kind of interesting, if you think in the terms of, oh, I'm going to build myself a little $10 million company, guess what you build? A $10 million company. If you look at it on a bigger scale, then big things would happen. But if you're going to think about a billion-dollar company, there's got to be reasons for that company to actually want, to reach that level. What does it take for a company to actually become a billion-dollar company? And that's what we're going to be talking about here in a minute.
Wow, that makes complete sense, Mark, and I'm so amazed by your accomplishments. But what was next after Herbalife?
Well, again, sometimes you have plans and kind of life gets in the way. And the true story of what happened is that after we launched Herbalife, I had an opportunity to actually own half of it if I'd wanted it. And I was interested. I thought, wow, this could be a good company. It was just a small, struggling company at the time and just getting started. But I had a son with cystic fibrosis. And I had to make a kind of one of these very important decisions in life of, okay, is money important to me right now, or is my family important? And for me, it was my family. So what I actually did is I took time off. I actually retired. I was very fortunate. I'd made a lot of money in my very young age, and so I was able to retire. And I spent that time with my son until he passed away. So it was a great time in my life, but a very sad time as well.
Sorry to hear that. Must have been very tough. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Again, I never lost my dreams or my desires or anything. But after that time passed, and I had to go back to doing something again. I decided, I'm gonna take a little time off. So I did. I just kind of enjoyed life. You know what I actually did? I traveled. I spent my time traveling. I think that's what probably led to what we're going to be talking about today, is because I enjoyed it so much. I'm thinking, wow, I'm in my 20s. I'm traveling the world. This is what everybody should be able to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, because it's no fun doing it when you're 80 years old and you can't get around like you used to. It's a lot more fun when you're traveling when you're young.
Yes, especially when you've gone through something difficult or you're looking for inspiration. I mean, we all love to travel.
So I think that probably at that point in time probably got me thinking about, wow, it'd be so neat to do something in this world of travel. But I had no idea what it was going to be.
Ooh, okay, I'm looking forward to hearing more about this. Well, it's completely understandable that you took a break, of course, and I get after doing all of that, your sense of entrepreneurial spirit wasn't quite at rest, though. Right?
No, it's always there. You don't ever lose that. I mean, I don't care. Again, when I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, it never goes away. It's part of who you are.
Right. Well, I'm very curious about the travel industry and where you're taking this next, because I'm assuming that with all of your experience, with the lead in about travel, with the smile on your face right now, there's something there that might be disrupting the travel industry, and perhaps you even have an opportunity for other people to get involved.
Well, you're absolutely right. Of course, one of the things I realized as we started looking at this whole idea of what would be a company you could put together around travel, I started looking at the industry. And I realized that there's kind of like a monopoly that exists out there. Because most people, for example, they go to book travel right now, most people do it with what they call OTAs. They go online, book it, and they do it with all the different ones that are out there.
And an OTA
is an online travel agency, okay? And for example, like yourself, I mean, when you go to book, how many online travel agents do you think there are right now?
I mean, you have Expedia, Booking.com, Kayak, Trivago, Priceline, Hotels.com. I don't know. I mean, I really have no idea.
So it sounds like hundreds are out there, right?
Sure.
And people go, well, I'm going to go see who's giving me the best deal. What people don't really realize, there's only two.
Really?
And that's Priceline and Expedia. And they own all the rest. So it's kind of a game out there. And guess what? You're buying travel at retail. And so everybody's out there buying travel at retail. And I've always said, when you see something like that that's out there, you think, okay, how can you take that? That's an opportunity there. What could you do to provide people a way to bypass that retail travel program that everybody's on right now, the entire world's on, and show them a different way to do it? And that was the start of putting together GoodLife USA.
Wow, that sounds fascinating. I mean, one thing for sure everyone loves is travel. So I'm sure it's not gonna be hard to find people to participate in that. And I really have to say, your energy is contagious. I mean, you came out of retirement for a reason. So this must be good. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Sure. And again, I'm excited more for the people that are going to get involved in this business than I am for myself. Because like I said, I've been very blessed. I spent my whole life traveling the world and doing all the things I've really enjoyed doing. And so for me, it's like, okay, how do I give some of that back? How do I let people have that same kind of opportunity? And so that was part of the whole vision behind putting together GoodLife USA, was to put together a program so that people could travel, but travel at cost, not at retail. And secondly, to put together some concepts that would change the industry. Because one of the things I know for a fact is, for somebody looks at GoodLife USA and wants to get involved, they're only going to do it if they look at it and say, wow, I can do that. I know I can do this. This is so easy. So we created 3 major game changers. And these game changers are really going to revolutionize this industry, and revolutionize, when I say this industry, I'm talking about the travel industry and the network marketing industry. And so as we've developed this and put it together, and we're just now, of course, bringing this thing out, people have an opportunity unlike anything they've ever seen before. And guess what? They can do it without selling. Most people don't like to sell. They're not good at selling. So we created a way for people through this VIP club card. Matter of fact, I always say, I don't know if I can do this or not, but I'm going to do it right now. Here, if I get it in my wallet here. I said this the other day in a meeting, but I said, what's in your wallet? I hope I get in trouble with Capital One out there. Because what I have in my wallet, if I can get it out, because I have a lot of these things I give away, is this VIP, GoodLife club card. Okay. So let's talk about that for just a second.
Okay, what is it?
I got to, because this is the card that allows everybody to be able to be successful in business without selling. Remember I said people don't like to sell? They like to just have fun. Yeah. So for me, how simple is it for me to sit there and I meet you and we're talking and I go, hey, Jody, do you travel? And you go, yeah. Of course I travel, okay?
Travel more.
Well, guess what? I got a gift for you. And that's all it is, a gift. So I hand you this card, and it's real. Now, what's great, you know and I know, people are skeptics, right? So what are they going to do? They're going to take this card and go, no, what is the deal here? Well, you're going to get $200 in savings when you travel. When you book hotels and resorts anywhere in the world, we're going to show you how to save $200. Now, be a skeptic, please. And you are. So you take the card and you flip it over and it tells you what to do and you go activate the website, right? And guess what happens? You see prices you can't get from Expedia or Priceline or anybody else. And you're going, wow, this is real. So you're going to use that card, right?
Yeah.
Now, all I did was give you a gift.
Can I keep this?
Absolutely, you can. Absolutely. I want everybody in the world to have one. But here's the great thing about this. We're going to show the people that get involved in Good Life how they can hand these cards out to everybody, and just as a way of saying thank you to people. They're going to love you for it, but guess what happens? When that person saves the $200 that's on that card, the person they handed out just made $100. Now, imagine what happens if you hand out 1,000 cards.
Wait, how does that work? Hold on just a second.
Okay.
So you give this to me and then you get money back.
Right, of course. And the way you get money back is, this is all done to the hotel. So when a person goes and books, they see a price point, okay, that Expedia or all the other OTAs are charging, and then they see a savings. And whatever that savings is, if they're saving $50 on that hotel for the night, if they save $50, we pay you, you're the only person to hand them the card, we pay you $25. They save $100 on that night, you get $50. Whatever they saved, you get half of that. And we pay that to you forever. So if you can put 1,000 of these into a pipeline, what have you just made when those cards are used up? It's $100,000.
Yeah.
Now, that's if their cards are used, but why are they going to use the card? The only reason you're going to use it, or anybody's going to use it, is because it works. And that's what makes it exciting. Now, here's what gets even better. And this is the part that I love about this business. You've got somebody involved and excited. They're saving money. Now they're sitting there going, wow, I know when I hand you the card, I told you I'm going to make $100. You're going to save $200, so you're happy.
Sure.
I'm going to make $100.
Sure.
Next thing you're going to be thinking is, why can't I make the $100? And you can. And that's the beauty of this whole program then. And guess what? You're going to be able to do it without selling. Now, it even gets better than that. Because when you get the card out to somebody and they save the $100, okay? Well, what ends up happening is the people you're giving it to is the same thing. They're going to say, well, I want to do this. If they do it, guess what happens? Now you're in the business. Now you're making money from what they're selling. And they're not selling, they're giving. I mean, you're literally giving money away to make money. It's unheard of. No one's ever done that in this industry, and that's one of the biggest game changers of all time. There's two more. Maybe we'll talk about them. Maybe we won't on this particular interview.
I really love this because you're right. It makes it non-sales oriented.
Right.
It's just fun. It's a VIP card.
Yeah. Anybody can do it.
Easy
Anybody.
enough.
Anybody can do it. And so that's exciting. And I know it works for the masses. It works for everybody.
Sure. First thing I'm thinking about is, where am I going to go?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I just love this because it's not sales oriented and it just makes it fun and easy. Gosh, I'm thinking, where am I going to go next and who can I give my cards to?
Right. And guess what, Jody, it gets better because remember I said there's three game changers. Well, the first one is the card. And you can see how that really is something totally different because there is no selling involved. It's just giving somebody a gift. And again, I could give you story after story because I've had the pleasure of being able to give these cards out already. And it's amazing the people I hand them to, they get so excited because, oh, thank you so much, And then, of course, they find out they can make money from it. They're going, well, that's really exciting too. So that leads to the next game changer. Because here's what happens. I give you the card, okay? And you start passing it out to people, right? And you're passing it out to other people that are using the card, and they're so excited. But then they say, Jody, how come I can't do that? And of course they can. But here's what happens. Without you ever selling one time, that person says, well, I want to give out the card. So they sign up as an IBO, which we call an independent business owner. They sign up to the company as an IBO so they can also give out cards. Guess what happens? You're going to be now earning money on everything that they give out. So when that person gives out, and let's say, for example, and this is a true story, this guy walked in my office the other day. He's got, what was the number? I want to make sure I got, 6,000, that's right, 6,000 physicians. So this guy has 6,000 physicians he wants to give the cards to. They each have 300 to 500 customers, or you don't call them patients, right? They have patients, all right? So they're going to give those to the patients as customer appreciation. If you'd handed that card to that guy, that means that guy has got the potential of handing out 1.8 million cards. And all you did was give him a card. Now he's doing this, and you're making, when they hand out that card and it gets used up, every time when there's 1.8 million people eventually he's going to get it in the hands of, you're making $25 a card.
So exciting.
And you didn't sell yet. You haven't sold anything. Right. Okay? But you're making money, right? Now, because that's what happens when you become an IBO. And so now they're doing that, and they're benefiting you, and it even gets better than that. Because we've got these IBO teams now that are being built, and what that means is every time, if, for example, you hand out, say, 100 cards. Let's keep it real conservative. You hand out 100 cards. Probably, my guess is 10 to 20% will automatically become an IBO. So you end up with 10 to 20 IBOs, independent business owners, that are now selling in your behalf. So not only are you making the $25 a card, but now you're also making a commission, because we also pay a commission through our networking. Now remember, you're not in network marketing. You didn't do this to be in network marketing, but guess what? Are you going to refuse the income from the networking side of it? Absolutely not. And again, I love this, you did it without ever having to sell. That's what's going to create a massive growing company with the GoodLife, because people are going to be able to talk to anybody, get them involved, make the $100 on the card, then start making the $25 on the card, then start making commissions on the card, and they've never had to sell one time. And so we have the IBO team. So that's the second game changer. So a massively growing company that everybody's going to get successful from. And again, you still haven't sold anything. And then it gets even better.
Okay. Wow.
The last thing is, we created a thing called a legacy tree. Now this was one of my crazy ideas. And remember, if you go back in the early 70s, I did write the first multi-level commissioning. I didn't mention that earlier, but I did. I wrote the first compensation plan in this industry that actually paid a multi-level commission. And that's where the old term came from, multi-level marketing. Nobody uses it anymore, but back in the days when I was doing it, back in the days, I love that.
You're not that old.
That's right, I'm not 80. But back in those days, we called it multi-level. Now it's network marketing, okay? Well, we're creating something new here with our concept. We're calling it social networking, because there's no selling involved. All you're doing is basically sharing a gift with somebody, and then from this, all these benefits start to happen.
Sure. And everybody loves to travel, so you can't go wrong there.
The whole world was $7 trillion, as you said earlier. $7 trillion industry, and our inventory never runs out, and it's new every day. And we're going to be able to do this worldwide, which leads me to the final game changer. We put together, I actually wrote it, but it's a company thing we developed, a thing called a legacy tree. Now what is that? A legacy tree is going to be a one world genealogy in its timeline. So we're just now launching this company right now. As people join, they get all these bonus and awards we've been talking about. And I mean, there's more than we've even discussed in this interview. But now they go into this legacy tree. What does that mean? Well, the legacy tree grows 2 by 2 to infinity. All right? 2, 4, 8, 16. In other words, as people come in, they go into the legacy tree. It's one world genealogy. So if we put 1 million people in, they're all in that one world genealogy. But can you imagine the first 10,000, and again, we're just now launching, the first 10,000 or so people that join the GoodLife, they're going to be at the top of this legacy tree because of the fact of, and you know what, they should be rewarded. They're rewarded for being here at an early time and place in the company's growth. It's a one world genealogy, and they get compensated. Part of the commissions that come from these VIP club cards go into that legacy tree. Again, I don't know if I can even explain how big this really is, because it's a timeline genealogy, it's one world, and you're basically almost saying to people, look, this company's going to be very big. It's going to be the next $1 billion company. But if you happen to be at this point in our company's growth and you're in that legacy tree, it's life-changing.
Wow, that is so exciting. I can see why you're truly excited now. Yeah. This is certainly going to disrupt the travel industry. I mean, I can see it. You have the VIP club card, you have the IBO teams, and you have a legacy tree, and these are all components revolutionizing the network marketing industry.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I know, it's just going to be a lot of fun. You know what? The excitement for me, again, I said this earlier, and maybe this is how we end the interview. My excitement is really for the people that are going to be joining this company, because I know what's going to happen. They're going to be able to travel like they've never traveled before. They're going to live the good life. Yeah. They're going to have a financial opportunity probably unlike anything they've ever seen before. And we're going to get to do it together as one big family. Yeah. So,
and Mark, with you at the head of the family, leading us through with your experience and your enthusiasm, I know we're in the right hands.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
How exciting. Thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thank you, Jody.
Very good. And if you'd like to learn more about GoodLife USA, you can go to their website, goodlifeusa.com. You will find all kinds of information there and how you can get involved. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Jody Darren. See you next one.
Goodbye, everybody.